I'm talking about. Okay. Cool. All right, so the title of today's discussion is How to Move When God Feels Distant. All right, now I got two quotes that I'm really going to talk about today. Okay, the first quote is this. Well, these are my quotes. They're not really quotes from anybody else. But the first quote is, the moment you ask, how do I feel one with God? It is already God asking the question through you. All right, that's number one. And then number two is, all right, forgetting God is also God in motion. It's the infinite pretending to be finite so that when you remember, the joy of reunion can overflow anew. I know. Probably hear that and you're like, okay, cool. That's great. But I want to embody God because I want the shit that I want in my life. I get it. I get it. And you deserve those things. So let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about this. All right. So when God feels far, remembering oneness in the illusion of separation. Okay. One time, for real quick, right? Before we start, I want you to do a quick exercise. I want you to pretend that you are everything right now. Okay. You already are everything. But what would life be like if you didn't have an individual perspective of all that there is? You wouldn't know up from down, left from right, this way from that way. You wouldn't know it. You would just be. It would be too much for this finite mind to handle, okay? Or this brain to handle. So we have the illusion of separation. We talked about in the last discussion, 2 discussions ago, and this is going to build off of it. We had a discussion called the holy ego. Right? It was like, the holy ego. The ego is the one that's keeping me from what I want. It's like, no, it's not. Right? So I'm trying to reframe. We're reframing all of these limitations. Okay? We reframe the perception of the ego. Remember, the ego is simply the altar through which God views itself. God is everything. God is the fabric of reality. The ego is simply a prism through which you see an individualized perspective of all that there is, of you. Okay? And so you couldn't even exist in this reality without the ego. All right. So we're going to move forward. We're going to go a step further. We're going to say, okay, yeah, I get that I'm God. But what about the moments I don't feel like I'm God? What about the moments I don't feel close? How do I handle that? Don't worry, your big brother got you. All right. So number one, the sacred distance. Okay. There are moments when the divine feels distant, when prayers echo into silence. And we wonder if the source has forgotten us. But the truth is, God cannot be absent from God. What you call distance is simply the veil of perception, the necessary illusion that allows the infinite to experience itself as you. Hear what I'm saying? Without it, individuality dissolves back into pure awareness, and the play of creation would end. Without the individualized perspective of all of us, of all of you, right? The whole drama, the whole play, the whole experience of life crumbles on itself. So even in those moments, okay, when you're saying, man, I get that I'm God, but I just don't feel close to God. Who is it that's actually saying that? This is simply, in that moment, that is God remembering it itself. Okay, so I'm going to read this one more time. What you call distance is simply the veil of perception, right? You descend into this reality, right? You pop out of your mom. Okay, some of y'all popped out of test tubes. I already know the way that y'all act. Some of y'all popped out of test tubes, but you popped out of your mom, right? And all of a sudden now you have descended into duality. You've bitten of the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. You judge things right, wrong, good, bad, this and that. Okay. But now you have this individualized perception of reality that helps you. This is how you can experience yourself as God. And now we also have that illusion of time, right? Remember, time is just an experience. It's for you to experience yourself as God becoming more of itself. You can't really become more of itself, but transforming, or reality becoming more of you. Put it like that. All right. So the same way that you say it takes 15 minutes for you to get to the gas station. Because some of y'all live in the country. It might take 30 minutes for you to get a gas station. You'll have a gas station trip every week. Then y'all go to the Walmart an hour and a half away. All right. So when you do this, you're measuring time. You have to go through space. You collapse space by moving through time, or you collapse time by moving through space, or what it would perceive. But this is just an experience. The same way that right now you decide that you're prosperity, okay? Follow your boy. You decide that you are prosperity right now. The unfolding of reality to show you all these different reminders that you are prosperity, all these different experiences, they show up. And then you walk through this quote unquote linear time. And linear time is just an experience of yourself. It's meant to be enjoyed, to play with. It's meant to have fun. It's meant to be divine. But we treat it like torture. All right? But we treat it like torture. So let me get back to this. All right? Acts 17:20. I was about to go way off the path. Acts 17:28. For in him we live and move and have our being. Okay, when we hear him or the Father or God from the point of this lecture, I want you to think of the Father, God, the universe, as all that there is. It's the fabric of reality. Okay, God is pure spirit. God is not a singular being in the sky. Okay, God is the fabric of reality. God is all that there is. So even when Yeshua, Jesus, your I am awareness said, I am the way. If you want to get to the Father, you have to go through me, right? He wasn't monopolizing the way, saying that you have to go through Christianity to get to God. What it was saying is this is the conscious way. Your I am, who you say that you are, is the way to get to the Father. It's the way to change reality or everything, all that there is. Okay, cool. So for in him we live. So right now, if God is everything, if source is everything, you have this illusion of being within your body. But you're not within your body is within you. You have an illusion of being inside this reality, inside this world. But you're not inside this world is within you. You have this thought or perception of being within time, but you're not within time. Time is within you. You are the awareness over it all. Okay, you are the shell, you are the cover over all of it. And all of these things are simply moving within you, within your awareness. When you walk into the room, okay, you're not walking into the room, okay? The room is within your awareness. This is why you can look around and start telling stories about it. You can say, this table is brown. This table looks dusty. It looks old. Who is the one saying that? Who is naming those things? It's your awareness. This is something that's in your awareness now, okay? Cool. All right. So here we go. Because you are in source, right? You are source. You are God. But you have chose this individualized perspective of God. Okay? You can consider yourself as a concession to be within God now. We don't want to take this too far, because when you take it too far, you end up really worshiping the separation. Oh, I'm just this little sinner down here and I have to worship this big God up there to get what I want. No. You are source. You are pure awareness. But right now you are taking an individualized perspective of all that there is so you can have an experience of knowing yourself. So you are always within God. So remember, when we look at scripture, we're looking at it metaphysically. Okay, we're not looking at it from a historical perspective. We're looking at it metaphysically. And so from a metaphysical perspective, when you read these things, sometimes it kind of illustrates separation. That's for our human mind to grasp. But I had to explain that because when we say, for in him we live and move and have our being, your beingness, your individualized perspective, right? Within God, it's all one. There's only one mind. Okay, there's not your mind or your SP's mind or a specific person's mind and that person's mind or your mom's mind. There's just one. Okay, but we say all these things so we can understand them from a human perspective. Cool. All right. So here we about to cook. We about to start turning up the heat. I just had to give that little bit of background before we got into this discussion. Okay, here we go. Even when you forget your divinity, you are still breathing inside the heart of God. That goes back to that Acts 17:28. For in him we live. You are already in God. You already live within God. You are God. But you have an individualized perspective of yourself within the wholeness of you. All right. I know I talk fast sometimes. I'm going to try to take some pauses, okay? Even when you forget your divinity, you are still breathing inside the heart of God. The dream of separation is not a punishment. It is the stage upon which awakening unfolds. If you are love and you are all that there is, how would you experience love? How would you experience the love that you are without the illusion of separation? Separation is not punishment. It's simply the stage that you set to know yourself. Beautiful. You are not trying to become one. You are learning to remember that you never cease to be, right? Because we will hear, oh, okay, I'm God. Now I have to feel like I'm God. Feeling like, this is not a feeling. Knowing that your source is not a feeling, it's a fact. Knowing that your God is not a feeling, it's a fact. You don't need to feel more like God. You just are. All right? You're not trying to become one. You are learning to remember that you never cease to be. Right now, you are God. You are all that there is, no matter what. The only decision that you have to make from that fact is, are you a God that has everything? Everything that you want? Or are you the God who doesn't have what you want? Are you all that there is, having all that there is, or are you all that there is, experiencing not having all that there is? This is the choice. The choice is, it's not about, like, remembering God is cool. It's cool. Okay? You are source. You are all that there is. It's perfect. Okay? But you are God no matter what. Now, are you the source that has everything that you desire because you are the source, or not? Okay? Cool. The divine paradox. Next part. All right. Now we're really going to start getting a little bit deeper. If we were to feel the full weight of oneness all the time, the full weight of being connected with everything, because I have these conversations with y'all, and sometimes you give me this speech as if you want to one day just be walking through life and just melt into everything. Admirable as it may be. If we were to feel the full weight of oneness all the time, individuality would collapse. The mind, overwhelmed by infinity, could not hold its form. Some of y'all, your mind can barely hold what's going on in your life right now. Sorry, guys. I don't. Imagine having infinity. Truly not knowing up, down, left, right. Guys, you are God no matter what. You believing that you have to remember it to feel a certain way. That right there is the reminder. That right there is the reminder that you're all that there is. That is God remembering itself as God. All right. Thus, right, the mind overwhelmed by infinity could not hold its form. Thus, your temporary feeling of separation is mercy, the divine disguising itself so that you may explore, feel, and create. Fear is simply a mask that God wears from time to time. Love, the feeling of love. You are love, but the feeling of it is simply a mask that the human version of you that is God wears from time to time. But it's not who you are. You are God. All right? So here we go. The mind, overwhelmed by infinity, could not hold its form of it. Okay? And so now it tried to pour all of itself into this divine vessel, and this divine vessel cracked and split and created this illusion of separation, because the only way that it could hold all of it was to crack and turn into all these versions of itself, giving the illusion of separation simply so it could behold itself. All right? This is the divinity. This is the divinity that you are. Right? You walk around in the illusion of separation simply to know yourself. Simply to be able to give yourself the ability, the grace, the mercy to experience yourself, to experience the unfolding of yourself. If it was just one of you, with no illusions of you, what would you do? What would you do? Okay? So here we go. The mind overwhelmed by infinity could not hold its form. Imagine trying to pour the ocean into a cup. It would shatter beneath the pressure. The same is true of human consciousness. To experience total oneness at all times would dissolve individuality itself. What we call separation is not exile, but protection. It is God's way of allowing itself to play with form, to know contrast, to taste love, and to sculpt meaning from limitation. Without this mercy of forgetting, creation would lose its canvas. You would not know the thrill of discovery or the beauty of remembering what you truly are. Do you see, right? It says the healing is the perspective shift. The miracle is the perspective shift. Okay? The miracle is the perspective shift, right? The veil is not punishment. It is divine design. God hides within you so that you may seek. And in seeking, awaken to the truth that the seeker and the sought are one. The distance you feel is sacred space. The distance that you feel from God is sacred space. The breath between inhale and exhale, where the infinite meets the finite. It is the heartbeat of duality that makes the dance of existence possible. Just my feeling of not being close to source is a sacred place. This is the place that actually makes my becoming, makes my discovery, makes my life beautiful, meaningful. Beautiful, right? This makes the dance of existence possible. So we could even say, remember, because existence is the fulfillment. You are the manifestation of God. Knowing that you are the manifestation of God, that right there is the fulfillment. Your breath, your existence, the ability to desire, to want, is your divinity. That is the fulfillment. Desire is the fulfillment. Proof of your existence is that sometimes you're going to feel that quote unquote separation. That in itself is sacred place. When you feel that oneness, sacred place. When you feel that separation, sacred place. It is from this place that existence is even possible, that my fulfillment is even possible. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's all sacred. It's all perfect. It's all sacred. It's all divine. Here we go. So it is the heartbeat of duality that makes the dance of existence possible. So do not curse the times you feel separate from source. Bless them, for they are the very means through which God rediscovers God. For which God rediscovers God. Okay. So as Meister Eckhart said, God is at home. It is we who have gone out for a walk. Every step of this walk, every joy, every heartbreak, every moment of anxiety, of pain, of frustration, of the perception of separation is still within God's presence. I felt my heart when I said that right there. It's still within God's presence. Every step of the walk is still within God's presence. Do you hear this? All right. When you cry, it is God knowing itself as the cry. When you laugh, it is God recognizing joy through your eyes. You cannot fall out of divinity because divinity is what you are. So how come I don't feel close to God all the time? Just the feeling of not being close to God is proof of your existence, which in itself is sacred, which in itself is the sacred proof that you are the fulfillment. It's all perspective, y'all. It's all perspective, all right? Number 3, the illusion of distance, all right? So John 10:30, right? Jesus said, I and the Father are one, but the Father is greater than I. This is the same duality that we go through, but the Father is greater than I. It's that feeling of separation. It's that knowing that that spirit within me still does the work. It's that knowing that from this human perspective, I simply take a human individualized perspective. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? Okay. So closeness, unity with God is not a feeling, but a remember. Let me say that differently. I almost said something wrong. Unity with God is not a feeling, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Unity with God is not a feeling, it's just a fact. It's not meant for you to feel any way about it. It's just a fact. Okay? He did not say, I will become one, but spoke from the realization that separation itself is the dream. Your task is not to bridge a gap, but to awaken within it. The moment you ask, how do I feel one with God? It is already God asking the question through you. The seeker and the sought are the same essence, playing different roles in the same divine drama. The seeker and the sought are the same essence, playing different roles in the same divine drama, with your divine ass, right? You are the divinest of asses. Do you know that? Okay. So here we go. Let's break this one down a little bit. The moment you ask, how do I feel one with God? It is already God asking the question through you. The very longing for unity is proof that separation is an illusion. Only the infinite could crave remembrance of the infinite. The question itself is a whisper from eternity, a spark of divine intelligence stirring within the human mind. You think you are seeking God, but it is God seeking to know itself as you. You think you are seeking God, but it is God seeking to know itself as you through your confusion, through your wonder, through your ache to return home, through your joy, through your frustration, through your anxiety, through your joy, through your love, through your excitement, through all of that. It is God seeking to know itself as you. Beautiful. Every doubt, every yearning is a breadcrumb leading you back to the truth that there was never a journey to begin with, only awakening to what always was. There was never a journey to begin with, ever, never, never, ever, forever, ever, never, ever. All right. You are not a human trying to merge with God. You are God exploring the texture of being human. You are not a human trying to merge with God. You are God exploring the texture of being human. The impulse to remember is the pulse of creation itself, the universe folding inward to realize its own reflection. When you pause and listen, you will feel the gentle paradox. There is no distance to cross, only awareness to recognize. The question dissolves the moment you see that both the voice that asks and the silence that answers are one and the same. Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It's all God. It's all God. It's all God. Everything is God. The joy is God. The pain is God. The frustration is God. The anxiety is God. The feeling of separation is God. It's all God. It's all perfect. Look at you in this divine drama, thinking that you're anything less than perfect. Look at you. Thinking that you're anything less than divine and whole and wonderful in God. That right there is the illusion. That right there is an illusion. It's all perspective. How are you seeing? Like, how do you see yourself? How are you viewing this anxiety? This, I just want to feel a little bit closer to God. How are you viewing it? It's all perception. Okay? Here we go. So the mystic Arabi, Ibn Arabi, okay, wrote, "He who knows himself knows his Lord." He who knows himself knows his Lord, right? A little outcast for your ass, right? A little outcast, right? He who knows himself knows his Lord. When you know your consciousness, when you know your own consciousness, not the story of who you are, but the silent awareness behind it, you know the source. The space between, here we go, here's a gem. The space between you and God is only as real as the space between wave and ocean. I'm going to let that one sink for a little bit. The space between you and God is only as real as the space between wave and ocean. There we go. The good brother Austin. There we go. Even Jesus said it, right? He who knows me knows the Father. Who is Jesus? Jesus is I am awareness, your pure consciousness. That Christ consciousness, saying the same thing. He who knows himself knows his Lord. Right? Jesus was not monopolizing your salvation. He wasn't saying, my flesh, right? That's how you get tricked out your spot, thinking it's my flesh that saves you. No, no, no. This is the conscious way. He who knows himself, he who knows me, he who knows I am, knows God, right? The space between you and God is only as real as the space between wave and ocean. It's an illusion. It doesn't exist. Okay? It's a floozy, it's a fozzy, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist, right? Number 4, the gift of forgetting. It is not sin that keeps us from union. It is forgetfulness. Yet even forgetfulness serves. Imagine if you were always aware that you were the universe. Could you still taste food? Could you still fall in love? Could you still mourn a loss? The soul chooses the veil to experience contrast, to learn what love feels like by sometimes forgetting it. I'm going to read that one more time. It is not sin that keeps us from union, it is forgetfulness. Yet even forgetfulness serves. Imagine if you were always aware that you were the universe. Could you still taste food, fall in love, or mourn a loss? The soul chooses the veil to experience contrast, to learn what love feels like by sometimes forgetting it. Love it. All right. So in the Bhagavad Gita, right, Krishna states, I am seated in the hearts of all beings, and from me come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness. I am seated in the hearts of all beings, and from me come memory, knowledge, and forgetfulness, right? I, the Lord, right? I create the light, the dark, I, the Lord, I do all these things. Beautiful. Forgetting God is also God in motion. Forgetting God is also God in motion. It is the infinite pretending to be finite so that when you remember, the joy of reunion can overflow anew. It's all God. What's not perfect? It's all perfect. It's all part of the experience of yourself as all that there is. Beautiful. All right, so number 5, the mirror of awareness. The question is never, where is God? It's not a question. But where am I looking from? You cannot see light. Hear this. You cannot see light by staring into the light bulb. You see it by what it illuminates. Do you hear that? Where is God? Well, you cannot see light by staring into the bulb. You see it by what it illuminates. Where is God? God is everywhere. Your existence is the proof that God is right here within you. In this phone, in this microphone, in this water, in this cup, within you, within them. Your existence is the proof, okay? Likewise, God is not something to find outside, but to recognize as the awareness perceiving all things. So Ramana Maharshi said, you are already perfect, only you don't know it. Beautiful. Your feelings of separation are not evidence of distance. They are evidence of longing, the divine pool of remembrance. Longing itself is holy, for it means the soul is waking up to the truth that it has always been home. Take a deep breath right there. All right, so here we go. So a couple things to do, right, when you feel separate. You know I'm not a big technique guy. Y'all know I'm not a big technique guy at all, right? But when you feel separate, here are 3 things that you can do. Number 1. You feel separation. You feel anxiety. You feel whatever. You see whatever, okay? Simply breathe deeply and tell yourself that even this feeling belongs to God. Even this belongs to God. Okay, number 2, see the divine in contrast, right? Loneliness, fear, joy, desire are all faces of the same source wearing different masks. God just is, right? God is the core of all of that. Those are just masks that the infinite plays with from time to time. That's it. This feeling is still God. I'm still the source behind it. It just flows through me from time to time, but it doesn't define me. Okay? And then number 3, okay, this is a big one, right? Remember, unity is not a feeling. And I've said this a couple of times already through this discussion, right? Unity, oneness with God is not a feeling. It's a fact. It is not a feeling. It is a fact. Your awareness of being is the unbroken continuity of God's presence. Your awareness of being, your awareness of being is the unbroken continuity of God's presence. That's the proof of God's presence right there. Simply your awareness of being, of existing. Your divine ass. Okay? Cool. All right. So, a couple reflection questions. Then we got a love letter for y'all, of course. And then 5 affirmations. Okay? Let me read this last part, and then we'll get to the reflection questions. All right. The experience of separation is exploration. The experience of separation is simply exploration. You were never meant to annihilate the self. I know we've been going in on the ego lately and all these false beliefs. All the ego's against me and this and that. You were never meant to annihilate the self, but to sanctify it, to let the human vessel remember the divine fire within. From that remembrance that you are source, everything becomes holy. From the forgetfulness, from the forgetting that you are God, now everything becomes a problem. I have to feel better. I have to see things as better. I have to force this to change. We're trying to change things outside of us without going first to the root, to the source, to the God within us. This makes everything hard work and difficult. Y'all know it. You can be honest on this journey, right? Who are you putting your faith in? Are you putting your faith in the source that's within you? Or are you putting the faith in the technique and your ability to try to think better thoughts and feel better feelings about some shits? Or are you putting your faith in your ability to think better thoughts or feel better feelings about a situation that you don't even want in the first place? Are you putting your faith in that, in your doing? Or are you putting faith in your being, your existence, which is proof of God, and allowing your Father to do the work? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay? You are one, whether you feel it or not. Feeling is the language of experience, not the measure of truth. Feeling is the language of experience. That's all it is. Feeling is simply an echo of an experience. It's a manifestation itself. Feelings and thoughts are secondary. They're a manifestation already. They're not the creative power. Okay, so feeling is the language of experience, not the measure of truth. I am who I decide that I am is the truth. The ocean does not need the wave to remember its depth. Your awareness is that depth. Even when you doubt, it is the infinite questioning itself. And when you awaken, it is the infinite smiling at its own reflection. Okay? When I say the Father, I'm speaking about God, right? Okay. When I speak about the Father, I'm speaking about everything, right? God is a spirit. God is pure spirit, right? God is not an individual or a being, right? So when I'm saying the Father, I'm saying all that there is, everything, existence itself, the universe, creation, God, all that there is, me, you, and everything in between. When I say I am awareness, I'm saying my individualized perspective of who I am, which is represented by Jesus in the midst of God. But it's still God. It's still all that there is. 10 minutes. Number 1, when have I mistaken the feeling of distance for actual separation? That's a great question, right there. When have I mistaken the feeling of distance for actual separation? Right? Feeling is just a feeling. The feeling is just an experience. It's just an echo. An echo is a manifestation of an old thought, an old belief, what you see, a reaction in your body. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with separation. You could never be separate. Just the fact that you have a feeling in itself is proof of your unity with God. You couldn't have a feeling if you weren't in absolute unity with Source. Right? So we have a mistaken the feeling of distance for actual separation. Number two, what if my longing for God is God longing to experience itself through me? What if your longing for God is God longing to experience itself through you? Okay. And last but certainly not least, of course, right? How can I honor? This is a good question. I really like this question right here. How can I honor both my individuality? So how can I honor both my individuality and my divinity without denying either? How can I honor my individuality and my divinity without denying either? I don't have to deny either. They're one and the same anyway. My individuality is my divinity. My divinity is my individuality. It's the same. It's one and the same. Right? One and the same. I haven't read it, but I'm going to check it out. I'm glad you put that in the comments and I can go back and check it out. Thank you. All right, so here's the love letter to y'all. All right, this is a letter from me to myself. Remember, you read it from or hear it from the perspective of you to yourself. Okay? If we agreed to forget, how are we supposed to remember? You said this is depressing. Yeah, remember, okay? So I want you to really think about what you said, okay? There's no questions, there's only answers, right? The answer is always within the question. Now, what is the difference between someone who, and I'm saying this, I'm going to try to answer this quickly before I just go on a rant and I missed this 1:30 I got. All right. What is the difference between somebody saying, oh man, I agreed to forget and it's depressing, versus somebody saying, I agreed to forget and I get to experience the unfolding of myself in life? Guys, that whole, I used to buy into that. That whole like, oh, I have all these issues from past lives and I come down here to heal so I can learn myself and I'm just trapped here on this prison planet. But that in itself is such a limiting belief, y'all. That in itself just, okay, if I take that perspective, how could I ever have a beautiful life? But if I take the perspective that this is all me, because we can't say our beliefs create reality and then say, well, only in certain areas. Is it true that you chose this? Yes. Is it true that this is a prison? Absolutely not. You cannot be prison. You're a sovereign being. You're a divine being. All that stuff, right? This is how control gets sprinkled into spirituality. Okay? Because we will hear these stories about this being some prison planet and this is school and it's meant for you to learn lessons and grow. Man, that sounds like capitalism sprinkled into spirituality. That's all that shit sounds like. It sounds like somebody with a capitalistic mindset got their hands on spirituality and said, let me taint their ass a little bit more. That's all that is. Okay? Prosperity, fun, expansion are part of your birthright. It is part of it's part of your divine nature. The more that I believe and accept, but how do you get out of what? There's nothing, you're not trapped. Okay. You're not trapped in anything. Okay. It's simply your perspective right now. The perspective that you are trapped, that this is prison, that this is school, and you have past life issues that are every once in a while just going to show up out the blue and slap you over the head. That is the very perspective that keeps you trapped. The only prison is your own mind. There is no reality out there. There's nothing to change. There's nothing to escape from except for yourself. The biggest shift that came in my life was when I finally decided to choose that life was for me and that God was for me and that everything that I saw no matter what it looked like, was for me. It was this deciding to have this unconditional knowing that everything is going to work out because I am source. It was finally checking out of this thinking that, oh, I had these things passed down from previous lives. Okay, if I believe that, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's the same way. If I right now decide to focus on red cars, I'm going to see a whole bunch of them. If I right now decide to focus on healing past life trauma, I'm going to find a whole bunch of things to heal. If I right now just focus if I just focus right now on healing trauma from this life, I'm going to find a whole lot of shit to heal. But if I simply focus on prosperity and the love that I am, the joy that I am, knowing that I am this God being just here, experiencing life, and I decide that I want to make this life a life of fun, a life of expansion, a life of joy, a life of love, a life of whatever, I can have that. There's nothing to escape. You're not trapped by anything except for yourself. If you go to the doctor right now and they tell you that you're pre-diabetic, right? You got who has the final statement on whether that manifests into diabetes or you reverse it? Who has the final say so? You do. If they tell you have 3 months to live, who has the final say? This is the placebo effect. People with cancer, they go to these experiments thinking that they're going to get a real treatment and they get nothing. They get a sugar pill and all of a sudden they heal themselves because they made a choice to believe that they were going to be healed. We have typically, okay, on this spiritual journey, if you get caught on the wrong path, right, you will make a choice to believe that you are in some prison hellhole planet. You mean with all this money floating around, with all these experiences floating around, you can't find some fun? With all these beautiful women floating around, you can't find some fun? With all these beautiful experiences, beautiful places to go and visit, you can't find fun and expansion in this? What would you rather be doing? Would you rather be fighting tigers and hunting for food? Would you rather be in wars? What would you rather be doing? Guys, like, when I hear this, I'm always like, this is a prison and it's a hellhole and you want to get out. And what do you want to, okay, let's say you get out. Now, what exactly are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, no, you just heard something. Somebody just told you some shit and you started believing it. That's it. Somebody told you that and you decided to believe it and you didn't even think past that. What else is there? Well, this is hell and I want to escape and I just want to be free. Do that now. How about that? Do that now. Do that now. All right. So we're not fighting against anything out there. There's nothing trapping you. You're not in prison. You're not in some school getting beaten over the head by past life issues. All of that is a fairy tale. It's a fantasy. Okay? You are simply God experiencing itself right now. And what other time would you rather be born? My black ass, I'll tell you for a fact, there's no other time I'd rather be here than right now. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no other time. I'm enjoying this shit, right? When you switch your perception to actually begin enjoying what is in front of you, it's amazing how things change. It's amazing how things change. Okay? Cool. Exactly. If you make no choice, it's still a choice. No choice is still a choice. We either get to consciously create our reality based on what we want, or guess what? We get to create the reality based on other people's expectations. So if a whole bunch of other people tell me, well, shit, this is a prison. This is a prison planet. You got to fight through these old limiting beliefs from past lives that you don't even know of. Ain't no telling what I was doing in the past life. My freaky ass, ain't no telling what I was doing in the past life. I don't want to run into none of that shit. All right? So just me having that belief, why would I do that? Why would I set myself up for that? Why? Makes no sense. Okay? Makes no sense. All right. So how much time we got? 5 minutes. You know you was. I didn't even go to. Somebody gonna tell me to say pause if I say what just went across my mind. Sometimes I have conversations with y'all. I'm like, shit, y'all lucky I wasn't a woman. No pause. No pause. Oh, you think I'm living a good life now? Huh. Oh, if I was a... I told one of the people I was working with, they were telling me this story about how some dude offered to give them this trip. And I was like, shit, I'd be throwing ass for a free buffet right now if it was me. You know what I'm saying? I'd be throwing ass overseas in Jamaica for a free buffet. You mean you gonna fly me out? let me go pull my lingerie out. Let me pull the lingerie out. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. Kind of. All right, so here we go. One day we're gonna have one live where I don't get distracted and just go off. just go veer off somewhere. One day, but not today. Probably not tomorrow either. All right, so here we go. Here's a love letter to you. A love letter to you. Okay? Beloved, you have never been apart from what you seek. The ache you feel, the quiet longing for God, is not emptiness. It is the pulse of divinity moving through your own heart. You are the ocean pretending to be a wave, the infinite wearing the costume of time. Every time you wonder where God is, remember, it is God asking that question through your lips. You are both the prayer and the answer, the seeker and the sought. When you forget, do not condemn yourself. Forgetting is part of the holy rhythm of remembrance. Just as the sun sets only to rise again, so does your awareness return to its source, right? I wonder why they call it the sun, right? The darkness you fear is not punishment. It is the shadow cast by your own light, learning how to see itself. Let me take a step back, man. My bad. The darkness you fear is not punishment. It is the shadow cast by your own light, learning to see itself. Even in moments of doubt, your divinity does not diminish. It only hides behind the curtain of experience, waiting for your gentle awakening. You were never meant to feel one with all at all times. The distance you sometimes sense is not exile, it is divine artistry. God spreads itself thin across space and time just to experience what love feels like when it finds itself again. You are that love in motion, learning its own name. So be tender with yourself. Let every breath remind you that you are already home, already holy, and already whole. You are not searching for God, you are remembering, I am. Every heartbeat, every tear, every quiet miracle is proof that the source has never left you. And when you stand before the mirror, whisper this truth softly. I am the breath of eternity made visible. I am not lost. I am learning how to shine. All right. I am that I am. Okay. No matter what. Cool. So a couple affirmations. Remember, when I read these, you're not trying to be these. This is divine remembrance of who you have always been. Okay. Number 1. I am not searching for God. I am the remembrance of God remembering itself. Beautiful. Remember all these documents. These documents are on YouTube, so don't get writer's cramp trying to catch up. You can download the document straight off the YouTube channel, and the link is in the bio, okay? It's in the link tree in the bio. All right, number 2. I am the Word made flesh, the echo of the eternal uttered into form. Okay. And I gotta make this one the last one because I gotta jump off for a call. All right. Matter of fact, we're gonna do this one as last. I live, move, and have my being within the infinite presence that breathes me into being each moment. The infinite presence breathes me into being each moment, right? I am that I am, no matter what. Okay? Cool. And I'll come whenever you give me the benefits. Whenever you give me a 10 bullet point list of the benefits that I get for going, then I'll show up. All right? But I'll be back on tonight, y'all. I don't know what time, but I will be back on. All right? Love y'all. Client just joined, so I got to jump off. Peace.